Welcome, everyone, to the American Center for Levant Studies. The American Center's mission is to bridge the gaps in understanding between the United States and the Middle East. And we're very honored to be able to do that today, not just me, but my colleague, Rania Kaiser, our Director of Research at the American Center for Levant Studies. And today we have a very distinguished guest, Admiral Gary Roughead, who has a long and distinguished career as a naval officer, senior national security officer, I would say, bridging across different branches of the U.S. military and U.S. national security affairs. We've spoken with Admiral Roughead before about particular maritime and strategic problems in the context of the Houthis and the Red Sea and the Bab el-Mandeb. Well, today we're turning our attention more to the current crisis to get at the Admiral's thoughts on the military situation in the Persian Gulf region and then what it means strategically. So, Admiral Roughead, welcome. We're very glad to have you with us today.
Well, pleasure to be with you.
I wonder, Admiral, could we start out just with your thoughts on how you think the overall military campaign that the United States and the Israeli Defense Forces are conducting against the Iranian regime? How do you see it progressing? How would you measure it in terms of progress on achieving the military objectives? And of course, I should add, it's not just the U.S. and the Israeli military that's engaged. Almost all of the Gulf Arab states militaries are engaged, as well as some of our European allies, mostly in a defensive posture, but they for sure are engaged. War has been waged against them, and they're waging it back in a defensive posture for sure. But thank you, sir. We really appreciate your thoughts.
No, my pleasure. And as I look at the military campaign, and particularly in the Persian Gulf region, where I've spent time not only in the Navy, but I actually lived there in my young life. So it's an area that's been of great professional interest to me, but also of personal interest. And as I see the campaign that the US and Israel and other countries who are on our side are progressing, it's probably, I wouldn't even say it's probably, it's an extraordinarily well coordinated offensive campaign. The bombing that's been going on, the synchronization of US and particularly Israeli forces, and also being able to synchronize all the forces from the sea and bases in the region. It really is extraordinarily and exquisitely well done. Now, I don't have access to the target lists and what has been struck and what might continue to be struck, but it appears to me that the military targets in Iran, whether they are military forces or they are part of the military industrial base to produce the instruments of war for Iran, it appears to me that there's a very methodical, very effective progression through those targets. So I would give the campaign very high marks in that regard. The challenge, I think, that we all know um, is the issue of the security on the water, and especially in the strait. And that's where it's been a bit more challenging. And Iran has also struck, as you mentioned in your introductory remarks, has also struck at some of our friends and partners in the region and damaged some of their infrastructure, particularly military, but also gone beyond that and some of the port infrastructure, energy infrastructure. But the fact that more damage has not been done, I think, is indicative of, again, the coordination and the types of systems that are being used to counter what Iran is throwing at us. Now, I think it's of no surprise as we look back on Ukraine that we are in a very new way of war with respect to drones and missiles that we have not seen in past conflicts. So if you go back to Desert Storm, it's a completely different landscape. And that's what we're seeing unfold. So, in short, I think the campaign has gone very well, but we do have some issues, particularly as it applies to the Strait of Hormuz.